Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Saturday, August 22nd, and we have our chess show. And I would like to introduce our guests immediately. First, we have Grandmaster Suat Atalik, who attended our chess show. Hello, Suat, how are you?
Very fine. I'm already accustomed to.
Okay, very good, thank you. And I would like to introduce Mihail Marin and his lovely wife, Maria. Welcome to the show. Glad to see you as always.
Glad to see you always, of course. Hello, everybody.
Thank you. And we have FIDE Master, is Jim Eade from Eder Chess Foundation. Hello, Jim. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here.
We have a panel of two grandmasters, two masters, and one fabulous artist. So we will start with the artist.
By the way, she's a FIDE master too, so don't ignore that.
Oh, so we have two grandmasters and three masters. Okay, now it's three masters. Oh, okay, glad to know that. It's fantastic. So I've looked at a little bit of your new paintings, but tell us more about them.
Okay, first painting with
just finished
today with probably
I know what that is.
Okay, like this. Okay,
What a beautiful painting.
Who is the kid?
Yeah.
Vincent Keimer.
Nice.
I look like, I don't know. He looked one of the German wonder.
Yes.
German guy.
Vincent
Yes,
Keimer.
yes, he is. Yeah. Oh, I see.
And,
Wow.
And another painting I finished also today with the sea and beautiful Larsen's game
Against floor.
against floor.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Oh, right up on the beach.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is wonderful.
That's a real art.
And wonderful games.
Actually, it's funny because I consider that if you talk about Larsen, this game is what you have to start with. But the game is not in the database. It was some tournament played for the Danish radio, live broadcast somehow for the radio, things like that. And the game is not in the database, and it's not even in Kasparov's book. The chapter about Larsen. So yeah, it's
Really?
quite strange.
So how did you uncover this game?
They invented the books. They invented books, some time ago. So I still use them. Okay, Larsen's book should be here somewhere. I don't find it now. Okay, of course. But of course, it's the first thing you.
I know this book. I think I have it.
You can also read it, I assume.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely take a look. I just lately, I started to learn more and more about this book. It's Paul Kelly, 100 Games.
Actually, whose favorite book this used to be in childhood? Judith Polgar's. There is a funny story. She got some, I don't know if chickenpox or some disease. I don't know. She could not join the rest of the family who traveled, I don't know, to the States or the sisters with the mom, I don't know. And then she was alone for 10 days or something. And she worked with that book, and it really helped her, and she liked that. Of course,
what I found about in this book, Keres is my hero, of course, because of his style of play, highest quality of the game. This 100 games, I'll tell you, if I would like to select 2-3 games to show on this show, I would have a difficult time to find these 2-3 games because there is probably 30 games that are all fantastic, very high quality. It's incredible games.
But there is with two volumes in English published at Batsford, I believe.
Different volumes, but one is by John Nunn.
No, both of them are revised by John Nunn. He makes
I'm not so sure. I think the second one is only revised by John Nunn.
You see, it's The Road to the Top and
But I mean, I don't want to make a trip to the living
I have
room.
a trivia.
The second one for sure.
I have a trivia question for you, Sasha. What magazine was Maria featured in recently?
Which the 100 games?
No, Maria, our artist friend.
Oh, in which magazine? Was it New in Chess?
Chess Life.
Chess Life.
Chess Life.
The U.S. Chess.
Fantastic.
I'm on one of the judges for Chess Journalists of America for the best interview, and she was one of the contestants. Her interview, the interview with her. Yes.
Bravo.
I put you #1, but I don't know what the results are yet.
Well, we'll see soon. That's a good trivia question. So I agree. Listen, however, by the way, I spoke earlier today to Yasser Seirawan. He said hello to all. And I was asking his impressions about this tournament, the Carlsen tournament, where he was a commentator. And he was saying how difficult it is to do commentaries, which it's like match after match, like every day is a match, 4 games. Finish match, next match. Finish this match, the next match. The same 2 players, 4 games, sometimes more than 4 games. And you're alone, like you're in your apartment or house or whatever. You can't communicate with anybody. So you're all alone and you're watching this screen and you have to talk all the time. And you don't know whether other people also want to talk. So now who talks? You talk or them talk, or it's very, very difficult experience. And he's so glad that it's over by now. And, look, for obvious reasons, I didn't want to ask him about the quality of play, and so we just left at that. However, I have the latest magazine, New in Chess. I have other sources like Chess24, of course, and many other things. I want to show you just one thing. It's a game, very interesting game between Magnus Carlsen, who had white pieces in one of the matches against Anish Giri. So Carlsen had white pieces, and he needed a draw to win the match. So how difficult should be for world champion with the white pieces to secure a draw? Probably shouldn't be that difficult. However, let's see the game, and I'll read you the commentary. So I have to share the screen now. So what I do now? Share screen. I'm getting really a master of doing that. Chess stars, share. Okay, let me ask you, can you see now the screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So okay, good. So Carlsen starts with e4, and Giri plays c5. So now he's saying that I have played all sorts of openings in the must-win situations as black. There's really no universal recipe. You just pick something and start praying.
Right.
Okay. No, not a bad recipe, right? Okay, d6. And here Carlsen deviates with bishop b5, which should be good enough to have good position with chances for a draw, and black would be very, very difficult to create any chances for a win. So the only chance is to avoid simplifications, knight d7, and Carlsen plays a4. And here Giri says that I was not shocked to see this move, not only because Magnus used to beat Dreyev in the Tbilisi World Cup in the same match situation, but also because it was actually my game against Vashiela Graf in 2016, which was the first to occur in this line at top level. That's okay. Knight f6, knight c3, g6. There are many ways to play, but I choose to go for the king side fianchetto. A5, bishop g7, castle, A6. Now, very interesting comment. The finesse here is that I'm playing this before white has time to go rook e1 and bishop f1.
Right.
Not sure how relevant or important it is, but that is the finesse. Okay.
Yeah.
Finesse. Finesse is the finesse. Who can argue about it?
Yeah, because he wants it on f1 rather than e2, blocking the e file.
Yeah. Yeah. Rook e1. And now comes b5. There are some ideas to try and gobble up the a5 pawn with knight b8, knight c6, but I couldn't quite make them work. White has e5, d4, and if I start with e5, he will be in time with d3, knight d2, knight c4. Okay, so white must capture. And here he plays bishop b7.
Oh, that's interesting.
A nice move, keeping his options open, recapturing the b6 pawn with the knight or with the queen. Okay, e3, knight b6. I slightly regretted this move, given that it was a must-win game, since it allows some simplifications. Queen b6 would have kept the game more closed.
Ah.
Okay, and here comes e5. I was not scared of this move objectively, but the game simplifies a lot. Now, which, as a rule, helps the side who needs a draw. As we will see, though, the general rules don't always apply. Chess is a battle of characters, nerves, and luck. Knight f to d5. I decided to play the move I considered the best, although it trades one more piece and gives white a few easy moves. Otherwise, the e6 push was bugging me quite a bit. After knight f to d7, it looks very strong. That's why knight d5. So white takes, black takes, white takes pawn, black takes, and c3. Here on the next move, the push d4 was possible, but it wouldn't change the nature of the position much. Black is comfortable. The isolated a6 pawn is not really a weakness, since it can potentially advance to a5 and a4. That said, there isn't much to put pressure on other than the b2 pawn, so the position is simply quite equal. Rook e8, bishop d2. Queen b6, queen c2, a5. Looks like black has a little bit more space and probably easier move to find moves than white position. White is cramped on first three lines, and it's quite difficult to see what's the right way to organize white pieces to attack anything.
But white has no weaknesses, so it's hard to see what black can.
That's true.
For
yeah,
me,
but position is still complicated. There is a lot of play left in this position.
Yeah, white has the better structure, so he can hope that the future will be his. But okay,
right. There's a lot of chess to be played before then.
So white is kind of in a waiting mode. Bishop c6, and here white has to do something. So he plays d4. Pawn takes. Knight takes. And here black did quite interesting move. He played knight to b4.
That is interesting.
The first move that asks white a real question, and it immediately causes confusion. Sometimes it doesn't take very much. Now, probably the right move would be to move the queen somewhere to g1 or somewhere else. However, Magnus decided to take the knight. Well, we'll see what's happened. Now black takes.
Yeah.
White continues to take. Check. King f1.
Yikes.
And believe it or not, there is quite dangerous move queen to d4.
Yes.
Now that's a position where black analyzed before he did this move night before, and he thought that in this position white can equalize with moves like queen c3, for example. But Magnus is playing more ambitious move, queen takes c6, which is also quite natural move. The problem with this move is that black has now this move.
Oh, yeah.
E1.
With threat.
Right. Now he must retake to avoid the checkmate, and now queen takes b2.
Wow.
And the game ended, by the way, very quickly in this position. White played bishop f3. And the problem is that after this, queen takes here.
Yes.
There is one problem. There is a problem that the checkmate in one, and Magnus didn't see that, and he resigned.
Wow.
Now,
but it's not that rook takes a8 would be so bad, I believe.
Yeah.
No, this is not like Fischer Larsen.
Yeah, yes,
Anyway.
Yes, it's similar to the first game, yes, but still okay, one rook missing.
No, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things were missing in this game.
Now, I wanted also something. I'm not going to show you probably the game. That game is not really that interesting, but very interesting thoughts about preparation for a game. I'm talking about a game which Magnus Carlsen played against Daniil Dubov. It's a rising star from Russia, and he played a Philidor defense against Carlsen. And now, very interesting are his thoughts. Why did he do it? So the moves are e4, e5, knight f3, d6, and here what Dubov is writing. This could not be a surprise, as I had already played the Philidor 3 or 4 times. The Philidor was disregarded at some point and fell out of grace. The basic point was that the old generation of engines thought it was just much better for white, and there was nothing to talk about. The assessment on a chess bomb is 0.9. So alpha 0 is not that obvious, and it says it's only 0.2 or something. So my feeling was that you play a position that is probably decent, while your opponent thinks that he has to punish you. And it doesn't look exciting for black, I agree, but I spent some time analyzing it, and it's not like black is not worse at all. White has the pawn center, has space, you seemingly can do more or less whatever you want, but it is trickier for white than we used to think. How about this type of opening preparation, where you just take old computers and new computers and you see discrepancies in a certain lines, and you choose what opening to play?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
No, I don't know. It's the complete. French, they have this word that I learned the first. It's called charabia. The Arabs' hair. You will give me nightmares tonight. I'm gonna see Giri and Carlsen and Dubov talking to me in the middle of the night. Like Marshall had a story that when he had a German, Steinitz came and gave him a move which made him to win the game against Schletter. Look, especially Giri's notes were, I don't know, just if Yasser was here, he would say it's a howler.
That's right.
I mean, confusing many things, just to play for a draw or to play this and Philidor, I don't know. It's just one important thing. I think Mihail will agree with me. It was getting a little bit lesser with the previous generations of players. People could talk, people could phrase, and people could write. This is not a great gift for all these three people you really mentioned. Just minus plus 9. I don't know, 0 plus minus 10. That's not the way to write something. This is nobody cares about this. I mean, the first game was really a poor game. I don't know what Carlsen wanted to do. He could push d4 much earlier, and all these incredible talks and stuff. First of all, I think he didn't want to allow a6 with rook on e1, because immediately a6 there was queen b6. Now, it's not like representing something. The guy has an ad, this guy Giri, about French defense. He just curses. He's cussing and cursing. I don't know if you have seen it during this match. Probably it scared Yaz. That's why he felt very lonely in the Netherlands. And it's not the way to talk about French and saying like knight f6 on the third move after knight c3. This is completely gone. Computer give what, and now it's just Wiener. I just analyzed Wiener, and just keep on analyzing, till you don't, mention a word. This is my maxim about it, just unfortunately, it's just not like, passing the knowledge to the others. We just mentioned Keres, would you like to have Keres talking like this back in time? The world is changing.
Well, let me tell you something. I was fortunate enough to meet Keres in real life. For a few months, I used to live in Yerevan, which is capital of Armenia. My late uncle, he had laboratories there. I was very, very bad kid. I had discipline issues, and I don't want to talk a lot about it. But,
no, either.
Yeah. I was really bad. So my parents sent me from Odessa to Yerevan, so I would live with him, work in this laboratory, and so. And one time, Keres and late Max Eva, they were doing a lot of tour in the Soviet Union, and they came to Yerevan, and they had a lecture. Eva did the lecture in German, and Keres was translating in Russian. And after the lecture, Keres was playing 10 boards against candidate masters with a clock. It was simultaneous exhibition.
That's hard.
Yeah, and as a guest, I was invited to play, and I was the only one who actually beat him. It was he was playing white 4-pound attack in Old King's Indian. And, yeah, and I was very lucky to beat him, and he made 4 draws, and then he won other 5 games. I talked to him, but very briefly. I was very young at the time. It was 1968. So, so I was very fortunate to meet him. And of course, after that, I followed his career and his games, and he was like my hero.
His career was sort of short after that game. He lived 7 years after your game.
Yes. Unfortunately, yes, he passed away in 1975. And I want to tell you, if this book that I've shown...
But there is a better book, I believe, with all the games. I don't like anybody's analysis, even Keres's one, but there is a massive book which I received from an Israeli friend of mine in return for my book. I don't know, the guy went really cuckoo, to exchange these books. Mine for the whole Keres games book, and they really have all the games. Now, okay, with databases, obviously you see the games, but without single annotation, it's by Estonians. I mean, it could be anyone when there is no annotation.
I see.
It's a really big one, white one. Maybe Mihail has it, I don't know.
No. I never saw that book.
Really?
Really?
No.
So I made a very good exchange.
I I have several books on Keres. It's these 2 volumes, which I thought they were companions. But okay, the first one was written by Golombek, but I believe that Nan made some corrections. But the comments are Keres, I believe. Most.
Yeah, the very first one is with the comments of Keres. The second one is a little bit elaborated by John Nan and plus his computer.
Yes, and then I have there is some Russian book, just a theme book, University Paul Keres University. This is Universitet Paulia Keresa, which I believe Neustadt wrote it. It's some sort of thematic, selection of games. Then there is some other Russian book, newer. It's a bit thicker in hardcover. That I didn't work with so much. I
think that's the Estonian one, written by one of these guys, Uusi or Kerner or together.
No, about this book I never saw. Okay.
Do you know that face on Keres is on one of the Estonian banknotes?
Yes,
I even knew that.
Yeah. Well, when I met Maria in Tallinn. Okay, she asked whether the registration was there. I said yes, and then I felt like continue talking, and I said something about the Keres Memorial, and then I decided to play my very heavy card, and my heavy card was this. If I find it somewhere, I took.
Everyone needs a heavy card.
Yeah, yes, this was this Keres banknote. If I find it, only that a small incident happened when I took out this out of the wallet. I saw a picture looking like me, like this, and I had to explain that's my ex-wife. So, so this is the Keres.
Oh yeah, that's
the Yes. Jan Eslon gave it to me a long time ago.
When you said you have to get your heavy card, I thought it would be American Express card.
Yeah.
No, I have to play my Trump, okay. Not Donald.
How I got my wife.
So what do you think about this upcoming election in US, Trump versus Biden?
Look, I'm completely out of politics. I only think that nobody can be as bad as Trump is pictured by many. So, no, basically, I think that there is a lot of things. There are a lot of things about Trump which we don't know. But generally, I don't care. No, I don't care about Romanian politics. So, no. But just to continue the discussion about something that Suat also said. I mean, Giri's comments. The remarkable thing about Giri's comments to that game was that they almost convinced me that he would ever play for a win, even with black. So, I mean,
no, look, the guy is not that bad. I mean, he's. Everybody trashes his game and his cocky type of behavior. Actually. He's not a bad player.
He's very talented. He's very talented, but he's kind of. He doesn't have some inner strength.
It's difficult to phrase. It's really difficult to phrase what is in lack. What is lacking in his character and play. And I'm not so sure about the talent part. Now we don't have the real talents. Or we have all these weird people. How talented is Mr. Deak?
He's young.
He's very talented. I'm very sure for chess he is very talented.
We have another talent. Yeah, no. Okay, Mr. Deak. Okay, of course. Okay. What
I don't want to touch a further issue.
Yes.
He was my neighbor in one of the tournaments. That was not
comments if I can. And one was about the computer analysis. And I also pretty much don't care what the computer says about the games. But the only time that I found it useful is when I'm playing over one of my games and using the computer engine to analyze it. And there's a big change in the evaluation. And that tells me where I went wrong. And so that has been useful. But the 0.2 versus +1 and, that kind of stuff really doesn't affect me. paying attention to it. The second thing I wanted to say was that Yasser was mentioned a couple of times, and you talked about his difficulty with the commentary. And I don't want to get into this guy's the best commentator, this guy's the best commentator, this woman's the better one. But whenever you're talking about the best commentators, Yasser's got to be part of the conversation. And if he had trouble commentating on these games, anybody would have had trouble.
No, but first of all, it's rapid chess, so you don't have so much time, and of course the quality is not so high in rapid chess. So if you are a player like Seyravan, who has a certain class as a player, okay, he doesn't play for a long time, but he was a very talented guy, and he understands chess. He knows.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I mean, okay, Karpov and Kasparov had problems with him when he was. So okay, he understands the position, he explains it, and then he sees a move like and he cannot really say anything because okay, he's just a retired player, but you understand.
But you see, another problem, what makes it difficult for Yasser Seyravan to do his commentaries is that these new players, they first of all, they don't have any style like Geller had, Tal had, but Vinny. These all players have their own style of play. The new players, they're like all the same style. The Giri, Karyakin, all those people, they're playing same opening, same lines, same style. It's very difficult when you see their games and you don't see their names, who are the players. You don't know who they are because the moves are the same, the openings are the same, everything is the same.
Carlsen has some sort of style actually, because he's somehow he can foresee the strategic tendencies in the position. He sees very, very far somehow, and he makes some mysterious moves. Okay, against Giri in this game, it was too mysterious. And actually, I think that not even Carlsen can explain what he's doing, because I believe this is some sort of inspiration, some sort of talent like this, very deep, which you cannot.
Brains, incredible amount of brains he's reflecting, like Mr. Deak.
No, but Mr. Deak, okay, he's just a player who doesn't make many mistakes, but he doesn't create anything.
But so is Mr. Carlsen in some way. Okay, he's much sharper, and I can understand.
He's much more aggressive too.
Everybody talks about Mr. Ivanchuk like what a genius. The last 10 years, he always wins this Cuban tournament of Capablanca Memorial, and he's playing extremely solid and sound chess.
No, but Giri, for instance, his style is harmonious somehow. Okay, when he plays well, Giri's games are nice to see somehow. Okay, Mamedyarov, okay, he's a crazy attacking guy somehow. Now he got calmer, but okay, you can recognize Mamedyarov, who is some sort of
No, I agree about Mamedyarov, Ivanchuk. No, I'm talking about the young generation of the players like Giri, Karyakin. These players, I was looking at a lot of their games. They have the same openings, same style of play. They play black and white. If you reverse colors, it will be still the same opening.
What about Nakamura?
Nakamura. Well, now that he's playing in this tournament, he's also playing the same openings like everybody else.
No, actually,
Nakamura, yeah, go on.
No, go you say.
Well, I mean, look, Nakamura at some moment, he decided to be very practical. And he really dried himself a little bit. So he's very predictable. And especially in one of his openings, in Queen's Gambit declined with this Bishop F4, Knight BD7, he really got into some, confined positions and lost games, or he had difficulties, also won games. But what Nakamura is doing is just deliberate.
Yes.
It's not a good example.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, also I touched with Yasser. The point is that there were a few, besides the quite low quality of play and never mind one move blunders, as we saw, there were two ugly 8 moves draws, which I talked about it last Saturday. which is very, very difficult to justify, where there is only one chess tournament in the world right now because of the coronavirus or so on. So everybody, like 50,000, 70,000, I don't know, people watching the game, and they want to get something meaningful, and instead there is 8 moves, a draw. Another game, 8 moves, draw. How?
Yeah.
And what about sponsors? Why sponsors would sponsor that type of activity?
Yeah, I think I was talking about Nakamura before he became practical, as Suat mentioned.
Oh, I see.
Many of the games that he played, they were clearly identified. I could see the game, and I would say that's Nakamura. No one else plays that move.
Yeah, I remember his games when he played e4, e5, queen h5.
Yes.
I remember his games. Yeah, that was his style.
No, but I mean, look, a little bit of. I played this guy quite a lot, by the way. I mean, yeah, I just heavily scored on him when he was a kid. And Joel Benjamin once came to me and he said, like, the kid really respects you because he didn't cry after another loss. I think it was in Providence in the U.S. Masters or whatever, which was won by Döttling, who was serving the German army, and he played in German uniform in the city of Providence.
Wow.
Actually, Döttling was pretty talented player, if talent is the thing. But I don't know. It's not like because of the openings. We are always,
Okay. I see what you're saying.
crawling around the idea of openings. Just Nakamura had his own style. He still does have. Karyakin or Giri, they have their styles, or Mamediyarov has his opening work and whatever, his trademark, type of tactics, or many times the end games. But the main thing, there are many players now, and they have an interaction with each other. We don't have a pure race of chess players. So many times you cannot identify Carlsen from Mamediyarov. And also the reactions of their opponents. I can tell you that in one of these Rogozins, and his opponent played h6, and just the guy went back bishop g5, d2, and after castles he pushed g4. So is this Carlsen or is this Mamediyarov? No, it was Carlsen. So they are, if this is the opening we talk about, it's just an endless subject, but they play good in general, and they are again getting formed. They are again inside of a closed circle. There are already 10, 15 names always playing with each other.
That's true.
Is it good? Is it bad? This is always happening. The history is going sinusoidal, and also in chess. We can talk about Keres and others, but from Botvinnik time till basically Kasparov time, it was always the same names.
Yes.
Now for 20 years, it is again almost the same names, only they aged a little bit. What we spoke about Grishuk and his remarks, he just said, like, for 20 years I am playing on 2700 level.
Yes,
I never played in 2900 level, and then somebody even put a remark that a tournament which he did. But the important thing, whatever they are doing. This 8 moves draw. I will not touch the issue of sponsors, because when Kasparov played Kramnik, he was the sponsor, he was the organizer, he was the arbiter, he was everything, and then he lost it. Well, now Carlsen brought some sponsors, he got the money, and he was the organizer. He had a back pain like Dingliran, somehow hurting his, rear in a way, whatever he did. Yeah, so he was lifting something on the beach, whatever. But the reality is that who is the audience? Who are watching these games?
Yeah. Good job, Sasha. Yeah, who is watching?
Yeah, who is watching? For whom
not...
they are playing? I think it is much more important question,
Yes.
I don't know. I constantly watch all these games. Even I had enough at some moment, and but I really watched, especially in one of the servers, I watched Yas commentary. He was not having difficulties, in my opinion. The Leko had more difficulties with his, voice and stuff, whatever, or I could really sustain a sonic attack by the Indian girls, Tanya Sachdev, which
Yes.
was really, I think even in the Second World War, people were not tormented with such a voice. But at the end of the day, who else were watching? Mihai, were you watching this?
No, I don't watch commentaries because, I'm working big part of the day. On my articles, books, whatever.
Logical.
And
You got your PGN and you check the games, yeah?
no, I watch on follow chess. If I remember, I look at some game and so on. I'm doing this sometimes. No, but many times when I watch, I remember, for instance, there was a game Nakamura Giri, and it was during lunch. I was looking with Marion, and at some point, Nepo was a pawn up, but it was not so clear apparently. And Maria said, "What about if knight is 7?" And Giri was still thinking, and I said, "Okay, if knight is 7, then you sacrifice the exchange like this, and it's won." And Nepo had about 12 minutes or something, and Giri plays knight is 7. And Nepo plays something different, and it's a draw. And I said, okay, maybe I was wrong. But then I checked with the engine. Of course, he has to give up the exchange, and he wins by force. If I, who am not a professional player anymore. I'm a writer, whatever. I play chess with big pleasure, but I'm just looking at the game during lunch, and I see something at once, and then this guy who is a top guy who has 12 minutes. And he cannot find the right move. It's not so fun. Or there was some game. Carlsen and Nakamura, they also had some good games, but in one of the games it was this anti-Berlin. They played with both colors, and Carlsen had a good position. But then it was a sequence when he exchanged all the pieces he needed to land from at least equal position, maybe more pleasant, into a lost ending. He did it very consequently. He changed but Vnik said if you have pawn weaknesses, you keep a knight. No, he started by exchanging a knight. He won a pawn, but then every exchange brought him, because he saw his pawns were weak. He still had chances, to hold a draw, but move by move, it got worse. And then he, when there was only one rook left, it was already not so important. He exchanged also the last rook, and then it was over. But even without that, I believe it was bad for him. So, you look like this, and
no, but you basically say that I cannot watch it. But my question once again, who are watching it?
That's the
really
question.
It's a very important thing, because we speak about 8-move draw. With twice. We speak about all these intricacies. All these finesses, like Walter Brown wouldn't touch, but who are watching? Who are the audience? Now, this is the problem. This is the serious problem. Whoever is watching all these games, they have nothing to do with chess. Now, I will tell you the group of people who are watching. There is one type of, spectator just who is typing there, just in this chats and stuff. They say like, go Carlsen, go Giri, go Nepomniachtchi, another time, go this, go that. Then there is another type who says like, we got a very exciting game. All these things you tell is very exciting for the poor, brained individual. He says, oh, you see, he's exchanging down. Now he is lost, so exciting. Look, there is 97, and his opponent didn't see it. Now my, the bar of my whatever engine is very erect. Like after this moment, it goes sky high. Actually, there is nobody who is watching this.
Many amateurs believe in this chess and these players and think about this is really chess.
Now I will also tell you about the commentators. Okay, Yasser is a different spot, because, well, first of all, he's a native speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, apart from Jim, none of us belong to this category. We may make mistakes with our English, with pronunciation, with words, with certain things. But Yasser, obviously, this is his native language. It's always a myth that he is Syrian. Well, he is half Syrian, half English, even by the blood composition.
And he is very eloquent with using words. And
wow, look, he has the speech.
Yes.
I mean, he is really very well soft-spoken. Some people, really goes crazy when he talks. He's not this giddy guy. They bring this giddy, and he says like, you know what I'm playing? I'm playing Sicilian. I'm playing Sicilian E6, Queen C7, Knight BD7. When he does with this Bishop G5, H6, G5. Okay, I can follow him. It was like back in time, like Garry Kasparov. He was showing a lot of moves and a lot of stuff and talking non-stop, and everybody is coming and taking pictures of him. And when at some moment, for chess, it really doesn't, bring anything in some way, this analysis. A lot of variations, a lot of these things, and all of a sudden somebody puts it in YouTube and says like, look, Kasparov is fantastic. Now, once again, it is with the audience. And Yasser, actually, as a commentator, it is good. It's another category. He doesn't follow that much the novelties in chess, how a certain move somewhere. But the guy played world's elite, and he was belonging.
And don't forget one thing, that Yasser Serevan, unlike other commentators, he's not using computer in his commentaries.
Nobody should use.
No, other people using a lot of computers, but not Yasser.
I mean, I don't want to put forward, not Mr. Deak this time, but, I mentioned his name a lot of times, I think. But, okay, what about the first black grandmaster, Mr. Computer, Maurice Ashley? He's just always showing something and talking like, I don't know, sports broadcaster. No, chess is not like this. And actually, apart from Yasser, nobody in the commentator team fit into the job. Commenting about something, first of all, you have to have the language, you have to have the manners, you have to really do it before. He did it before. I was teamed with him, actually. John Henderson was really very good, arranging a team for that. But quickly, politics comes in. You have to bring in some people from certain ethnicity, some people from somewhere, and then you destroy everything. But the audience, they are very happy. Then there is this guy sitting there, I don't know, somewhere in Algeria, and says like, Tanya, you are so beautiful, you are so intelligent, let me play you tomorrow, on or off the board. That's where chess ended up, really. And now it's a great entertainment for us. Maybe we are above some age. We saw these people. We played with those people. You beat Keres in a Simul. I just won Keres Memorial, which was a rapid event. Whatever. We just played all these guys. I couldn't see Keres. Okay, I was a little bit young and he died a little bit too early. But we saw almost everyone. I mean. Okay, Mihail just in 1990, he just almost was winning the interzonal, at some moment. It was very fine. But these games really do not mean anything. Been there, done that. It's after all some...
it goes back to your question, who's watching? Because in defense of Maurice Ashley, I think he's playing to that crowd, the people who are watching. And so it doesn't meet the test that you have for yourself, but it meets what they like. It's exciting, and so
I have to tell you something. When you keep the level low, then the whole industry fails.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about Maurice Ashley,
like Maurice actually don't see. This is one of the biggest problems of chess. They brought children.
I'm writing this down.
You know, they brought a lot of children into chess. Then they started to organize children's tournaments, one after another. And now in pandemic time, they cannot organize children's tournaments and they are losing money. Actually, I am very happy about this part of the virus. You know, it was very good for the world. No more children's tournaments. It was an incredible, you know, thing for even chess enthusiasts, not like, you know, amateurs like us, to play with those children. Now you bring the level down and you really put something into that level. There is no way back. No way back. Now, you really, once in a while, even from the people who watch us there, I see some guys, you know, that some, especially from, West European, mid-European countries, you know, the guy says like, look, I've seen this, I've seen that. What do you think about this move? And then 10 guys, they write like, go Carlsen, go Giri, go again. It's just, there is no sponsor, nothing. Sponsor is there, basically brought by these people. Sponsor doesn't care. They put some days ago or some months ago, you know, the CEO of one of these sites. I mean, you have your own chess site, yeah? This is fully yours, yeah? I mean, you are above some age, you may be called CEO. Maybe you don't call yourself CEO because who is your executive board, all this thing. But they brought a 20 years old kid, you know, like from somewhere, and he's the CEO, and he talks about chess, he talks about this tournament, how marvelous. Well, he knows nothing about chess.
Now, I've talked to a lot of people about what you're talking about now, and I've never heard it expressed quite so well. I really would applaud you for saying that.
Yes. Did you see a couple of weeks ago the World Chess Olympiad online started? The first week or so, they had African teams mostly. They were playing, and people who were commenting on very, very low quality of play of these teams that they're playing like almost very low level. I mean, don't know in ELO points what it is, like under 2,000 probably or so. So I don't know what makes them happy to have these games. Who needs them?
No, the only positive thing I see about this Olympiad is that, okay, you know, in the old days, Olympiads were really tough tournaments. I mean, there were the preliminary groups, and then okay, according to which group your team would qualify, A final, B final, and so on.
Yes,
this meant roughly 20 games. So yeah, and it was both phases were closed tournaments, which also makes some sense. Then okay, they changed it to opens. I never played in this system. I only played opens. In the beginning, it was 14 rounds. Now it's 11, I believe, already.
Yes.
So I mean, okay. The only good thing is that it's imitating because there are some quarterfinals, I believe, and now it's some sort of semifinal groups. I don't know what will be the next. There will be 12 teams. I don't know how they will play. So this is somehow nice that it's a lot of games, round robin and so on, but okay, it's just rapid chess. You cannot do more like that now in
but you're right, Mihail. Remember when the old system were and all this kind of not so strong teams, let's put it this way, from Africa or from whatever, they were playing in the overall groups. They had a chance to meet over the board very strong players, even like grandmasters, and they could learn something from these games. Now, what are they learning playing online against each other? Let's see, your rating is 1100 and you're playing against somebody who is 1120, right? So both of the players really don't know how to play. What they can learn from each other? I mean, like what?
Some people would kill for 20 rating points, you know. So.
There is no rating; it's all live.
Yes, I know. No, because even in the Romanian team, I see that ratings are. I mean, okay, not all of them do have any connection with the strengths of the players.
Do you remember there was a true story when it was probably in late 50s. It was a preliminary tournament in the Olympiad and in group, and Russia was leading and playing one kind of African team. I don't remember which one, and Petrosian was playing on the third board, and he was playing one of those players. And the other three games were already finished long time ago. They all three won easily their games. And Petrosian, he was playing very solid, very positional game. And finally, at the end of the game, at the end of the round, obviously he won this game. And he started to show what a beautiful maneuver he invented, where he maneuvered his knight, and then he created weakness on the other side. And then he also pressed on that side again. And I think Michael Tao said, bravo, 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 bravo. You know that your guy learned how to play chess 2 weeks ago. That's a true story. Oh, by the way, speaking about Maurice Ashley, let's not forget that next week we will have a terrific match on our side. And two of you grandmasters will play against each other, and we will have an audience of move predictors who will try to guess your moves. And in one of the first contests, we had Maurice Ashley. He was guessing the moves, and he was leading. He was in the first place. And 2 moves before the end, one 11-year-old boy from Vancouver, he made his bet 5 crowns on some move which was quite illogical in some ways. However, that move was made, and he was the only one who guessed. His rating was about 1,500. That move was actually made, and he grabbed 4,000 crowns and won contest ahead of Maurice Ashley. Well, things can happen like this.
What's the takeaway from that, Sasha?
A takeaway. There are a lot of takeaways, more than one, I'm pretty sure. The most important thing is in our contest, it's a level playing field, so anybody can win. Number 2, there is no cheating. So the game is being played by grandmasters and people that we respect and we trust 100%. And now, as guessing the moves, so people can see the game itself. People listen to commentaries, and also on their screen, they see top 3 moves of Stockfish. So there is no, doesn't make any sense to start looking for some kind of engines or so. It's already displayed for all participants. So all people have equal chances, and it takes. I don't have a recipe how properly to do moves. Of course, you need understanding of position, understanding of a player's style, what's happening in the game. Listen to commentaries. Okay, look the Stockfish predictions, and have some intuition probably too. Maybe that also does.
Sasha, I've done this 3 times now, and I got better each time. But I would only play again if one of the contestants was not Shirov, because Shirov cost me so many crowns. I mean, I thought I knew the exact move that he was going to play, and he played something else, crushing me. I would put 100 crowns on an obvious move, and Shirov would play something else. It would turn out better than what I thought was an obvious move. And so, you know, there's also that. If you have a certain amount of strength and you think this is obvious, and a person playing that sees deeper into the position, he'll take all your crowns away. So it's
but remember that Shirov in these games, what he played in this contest, he made a fair share of mistakes or even blunders.
Yes.
Mihail, do you remember some of these blunders what he made? Especially in games against Donchenko, he made some.
No, but the match against Donchenko, I didn't follow. I played with him this match with black. I had no problems equalizing, and maybe I was even slightly better, but somehow I was happy with the draw. Because, he surprised me in the opening, and then I had to be careful, but then I was at least okay. But with black, he played too provocatively against me. But it is him.
Yes.
And of course, over the board, it might. I mean, with classic time control, maybe I would have found the right move orders. But I just missed something, and then he started making unexpected moves. I was attacking something, and he would ignore it, and
Yes.
it was actually working. So no, actually, after that, he played quite okay. Even the win, after he got a winning position, he could have taken the fourth pawn for the piece and win slowly, but he went for a fourth variation, and he anticipated correctly that it's a win. It was somehow, yeah, I didn't. It was just by a nuance, but okay, he felt everything.
But the point I'm trying to
Donchenko
make
the
is
father
that-
or the son?
Sorry.
Donchenko the father or the son?
No, but we are talking about Shirov.
Shirov, sorry, but
No, I had
No, Donchenko's son was playing.
Donchenko. So I was asking which one, the son or the father, because the father is a pretty capable player. Yeah, he was the.
Okay. So
That's right.
He was the player.
But the son is stronger, especially he's training every day, like 8-9 hours a day. He's practicing all the time, and he's in very good form right now. We'll have him again. I think maybe winner of your match will play Donchenko most likely.
Maybe we play with the father. It will be better.
I might have played with the father a long time ago in the Soviet Union. I'm not sure now, but it sounds very familiar to me. Maybe it's another Donchenko. I don't know.
No, it's just the father and the son. It's like Nevedniches, you know. We both played the father and the son. Or Rothstein. I mean,
I think, his name was Anatoly Donchenko, the father. Right.
I have to check.
Sasha, I was going to say that
Alexander, the other one, Anatoly.
My experience was, it taught me one lesson. Like, if Suat is a much stronger player than I am, but I would rather try to predict his moves than Shirov's. That was the point that I was trying to make.
No, this is why Shirov is is Shirov. I mean, even now his overall strength is lower than let's say 10-15 years ago when he was up. But you can see that he's doing the same things. Only that after starting his attacks, he frequently makes mistakes. Maybe his calculation is not so accurate, or maybe his instinct is not always telling him what to do. But in principle, he tries playing the same beautiful chess even now. Only that at a slightly lower level. I mean, okay, as the results.
Well, and the rating reflects that.
Yes, but the concept is the same. I mean, he didn't become practical. He didn't. I mean, if he has the occasion, he just attacks. He sacrifices a pawn, whatever. I mean, he just.
No, but the guy's brains work a little bit different than others. You know, it's just.
Yes, he sees some attacking sequences.
I mean, I can tell you a couple of things about Shirov. One of them is Ivan Sokolov. You know, he experienced an analysis done between, or against each other. Shabalov with Shirov. He really couldn't follow. So they played the game, and then they had a post-mortem, and poor Sokolov was really trying to understand what they were doing. And the second thing I would say is a little bit different. You know, with all these guys, Vitolin, Stahl, I didn't see them. But with Shirov, I played a lot of games. And actually, there is some clumsiness there. You know, he was letting his opponents do certain things. I remember in one of these tournaments in Sarajevo, I just see that he doesn't see the threat, and he walks into the threat, but then he gets completely red, you know, and people who played him already experienced, you know, he really is as red as a traffic lamp. But then all these tactics from this moment on, he could calculate, and he could really make the game walk in that direction, and he even won the game. But now it looks like he misses things a little bit more than he used to do, and also, okay, let's not touch the guy's private life. We know this basketball player, Sean Kemp, who really lost all of his earnings in the way like Mr. Shirov did or will do. How many
We're all
more?
getting older, Suat. We're all making mistakes now that we didn't used to make. And but Shabalov is the other guy that I would not want to predict his moves. I've watched him play on the demo boards, and I'm just thinking, like, I just don't understand this. And I'm not a bad player. I'm a decent player. There's some players that are making moves that I can't figure out. I just don't understand. And other players, they're playing the same strength, same ratings, but their games make sense to me. More sense.
But this is very good.
When I see the conclusion, I understand. After I see them execute what they were planning on, but I can't pick it up while it's happening.
But this is very good, Jim. Now we are talking about Olympiad, online Olympiad, or all these sponsors, games, or whatever. Basically, we are the real audience, Just remember how Nimzovich improved his chess. He just got chess books, which were not so many in that time. He went to a book binder, and he said, like, look, just put a page, insert a page in between two that I will take notes. And he actually, in my opinion, he became a sharper player. The guy absolutely didn't have an understanding of positional game, but whatever, he started to come closer to the truth. He started to search for the truth. Now, the real audience in those games, they should really try to follow, and they should try to guess what the player is thinking about. Now with Shirov, well, it will improve, when you start being aware of his candidate moves, or with Anderson or whoever, you will move into another direction.
Yes, I think you're right.
Very
it's
good.
very benefitable, even for this online chess. I mean, but the reality, it immediately goes out of the way. Last week I had some, speeches with the best Singaporean player whom I know, and I've spoken with Sosonko, because Sosonko at some moment, looking at this match Singapore with somewhere else, he said, like, my cat could play better than the.
Yes, he did. Yes.
And he was really right, and there was some sort of Facebook, comment or some post run by Go, and obviously all these people came, Sutovsky, Mutovsky, started to say, like, yeah, Sosonko, very bitter guy, whatever. I mean, the guy really expressed what he said. First of all, in Singaporean team, there was a grandmaster, this guy who opened the post, Go, who is a capable player. In the other team, there was no one. Now, with all these groups and preliminaries and everything, and all this process, it is going for a long time. And according to what Mihail was telling, still nobody knows how these groups are merging at the end.
No, I suppose the rules are published somewhere, but
definitely.
Okay, I don't have the time to check it. I mean, I'm just following some games.
But like turning to us, like a lot of groups, and then many teams, there was supposed to be some top division already. Yes. Top division is now forming.
Yes. No,
normally you look at some competition and you immediately understand what's the time control, who are playing, where will it end up.
Yes.
Well, one thing you made obvious, I'd love to buy Sosonko's cat.
He will not sell you. I mean, knowing Jenna, he is very, very, attached to whatever. Or
would be interesting to find what's his rating.
Better than those.
He played Paw the King something. Yes.
No, but you know that Alekin was crazy for the cats, and he had 2 of them. And before his match with Oye, he brought one of the cats, and the cat, I think, touched the F7 pawn, and pawn falls, and And Alekin says, like, you want me to play the Dutch defense? And I think he loses the game or he has some difficulties. And I don't know. I think it's not like he has beaten the cat up, but cat runs away. Alekin is very upset. It is the same day. It was 1935. And it was the anniversary of the revolution. And he sent a telegram to Kirilenko, and the guy was utterly surprised to receive this by Alekin.
But then for the return match, he changed the cat for a cow.
That's right.
He gave up alcohol, and he started drinking milk, but he wanted to have his own milk.
Apparently, the reality is, first match, he was terribly betrayed. Speaking of Floor, Landau, all these people. And for the second match, he got a reliable guy, Klein, and he totally, you are very right. He gave up alcohol, period. The very first match, one of the games, they didn't send the car. And he got really upset. He started to drink during his train ride to the other city in Holland.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why
he started brilliantly. The first, after 9 games, he was leading with 6-3, and he was playing really, really good chess. His best. But then something happened. Yeah, I don't know what.
No, it was just a little bit of, one of the very interesting things you will find in Serawan's book, My Duels with World Champions. His real anecdote with Larsen. And Larsen really called him into his room, and he really prepared a great banquet for Yalt. And this was the day Oive unfortunately deceased. And Larsen really spoke very badly about Oive. And then Serawan was terrified. And Larsen really said, like, twice I didn't want to play in former Soviet Union. And twice the guy promised that to me, and he sent me that.
No, actually, it's the interzonals after Palma de Mallorca. They created 2 interzonals.
Yeah.
And yes, he asked Oive not to play in the Soviet interzonal because each time he played in 3 interzonals after Palma de Mallorca, and twice he played in the Soviet Union and he didn't qualify. Once he played in Bill and he won the interzonal and qualified. And yes, Yasser wrote something like he was with Larsen, and then some guy brings a telegram. And the telegram, it was Oive, who was dying, who wrote, "Forgive me." And Larsen said, "Okay, there is an answer. The answer is no." So yeah, something like that. So
chess players.
Yeah,
but Alekin had the same feelings for Oive. This is for sure. He was behaving himself at the closing ceremonies and everything, and okay, so this thing miled up, but the very first match, after some moment, it was really everyone against Alekin.
Mm. No, actually, I read something about it. Maybe my first book was Panov's book with 300 selected games by Alekin. Okay, the comments were Alekin's, but there is a big biographical introduction, and he writes something about the Dutch people being unfriendly to him and so on. But of course, it was a politicized book, so I could never know how much was true about that and so on.
But Panov was very brave. I could tell you that Panov was one of the few guys who even somehow criticized this sports system in former Soviet Union. He said, like, maybe we need more plumbers or whatever, not chess players or athletes of that many. He was a reliable source. He was really. And
listen, I think Panov started to write about chess even in Stalin's time, and he was, and because he was a Stalin's favorite, so nobody could really touch him. He could write and say anything all he wanted. And listen, Stalin's time were quite interesting. There was a team, the soccer team, the famous CSKA, the Central Soviet Army football team, and once they didn't do well in a match against Yugoslavia in 1952, world championship, soccer championship. And as punishment, Stalin, he just disorganized this club. And if you will look at these the cross tables of Russian soccer championships, so you see CSKA always either the first place, the second place, first place, third place. 51, I think it was champion. 52, not CSKA. 53, not CSKA. And only once Stalin passed away, 54, there was again CSKA, and they started to play back. And I think, of course, in the case, if it was Stalin's time, and Carlsen and Nakamura played 8 moves draws, they would be probably shocked.
No, but you remember what he said to Lilienthal after his prearranged draw with Capablanca? You know, Lilienthal and Capablanca, they met in the barber shop, and I mean, usual Capablanca style. You know, he said like, "Are you ambitious?" You know, Capablanca Reshevsky style. And okay, Lilienthal had big respect for him, and he agreed for a draw, and then they made this draw, and then Lilienthal goes to Kirilenko, and Kirilenko says like, "Yeah, 4 knights and 2 donkeys."
Yes, I remember.
Yes. Very famous thing, you know. And then Lilienthal, he really understood that he shouldn't. I met Lilienthal in Hungary. You know, he didn't speak about this. We didn't speak about. We spoke about floor actually, which was very funny. You know, today's 2 names are Deak and Floor. You know, they have similar style, by the way. Yeah. Accordingly.
But you know, everybody's praising Lilienthal, saying that he was very decent person, and that basically he had no enemies. Everybody respected him. I never met him, of course, unfortunately. So.
Well, I met him. It was a big surprise. I was playing all these tournaments in Hungary, and they had this chess federation where I was living. I think I was the last guest of the guest room. There were a lot of interesting pictures and stuff, and they had a cantina. And every day was coming someone to sell you something. Oh. And since I was practically living there, I was sitting in this cantina where, you know, the guy who distributes whatever tea and sandwiches is a FIDE master, because it's just like Romanian Chess Federation, where I have been also a lot of time. Everybody is a titled player. You know, some of these guys obviously. It's not like Stoika that you met him there and you know him, you played with him or whatever. And then all of a sudden the door opens, comes a really very tall guy. And, you know, really the guy intimidates you by his physics. He was old and tall. And this is the year of 1992. And he has a shopping bag in his hand. And he looks at me, he says like, you know, would you like to buy chess books or a singular form? You know, would you like to buy a chess book? And I say, like, you know, really, please, you know, everybody tries to sell something here. He says, yes, but I have written the book. I say, another good reason not to buy that book. And the guy really was very upset. You know, he was almost, you know, tears well out of his eyes. And I was really surprised. You know, I really didn't recognize him. First of all, those years, you didn't even hear from the guy anything. Later, he became a tool for this guy, Ilyumzhinov. And I said, like, okay, just show me the book. So he shows the book. It's in Russian. I have the book, by the way, at home. Yeah. And I said, like, come on, you are not Lilienthal. Lilienthal died. Why do you lie to me? He says, don't you see? And I really start looking at him, and indeed it was Lilienthal. We sat, we talked, you know, incredible amount of hours, and very funny stories about Flor, especially it was the case, you know, because, I mean, they were married at the same time together, you know, the very first marriage, 2 KGB agents, whatever, you know, and okay, his life, it was really a good, my first and last time with Lilienthal, you know, it didn't help none of us, but I bought 2 books.
Oh.
I bought 2 books and I gave it to a friend of mine, you know. it was really particularly interesting.
You always learn something new about chess. When you thought that you know everything what there is to know, you still learn something new. Mihail, do you remember when Korchnoi was about to play Karpov first match? And nobody except Bronstein, nobody wanted to help Korchnoi. He was just left alone. Everybody else helping Karpov. And you know, beside Bronstein, who else offered to help Korchnoi? It was Paul Keres.
Really?
Yes, Keres offered also to help Korchnoi. But Korchnoi rejected because he respected Keres so much. He had a horrible score against Keres. And he thought that if Keres will start helping him, it will be Keres who will play Karpov, not Korchnoi. He politely, but he rejected. But Bronstein was helping him.
Yes, but Bronstein was sent very far away to commentate on some not very important tournaments, 10,000 kilometers
They
away.
had a training match. They had a training match, Bronstein with Korchnoi for that one.
No. Sasha refers to the match, to the 74 Karpov Korchnoi match.
Yes, exactly. They had a training match with Bronstein. The others, the one he lost, 3-2 and a lot of draws. And he was really very much angry, that everybody was supporting Karpov. And I think it played an important role. But they played some training games with Bronstein. That was the biggest help. And with Korchnoi, he had some real, with Keres, he had some real complexes with Keres.
He couldn't play.
At that, he has beaten him in Spartakiad. The last game, I think Korchnoi won.
Yeah. Before that game, the score was 4 wins for Keres and 1 for Korchnoi and a bunch of draws. But the final score is 4 wins for Keres and 2 for Korchnoi. Yeah. Keres was one of very few people who was very, very uncomfortable for Korchnoi. And of course, Karpov and Kasparov were another ones.
But Kasparov, when Kasparov came in, Korchnoi was not so young anymore. So
right.
Actually, the Kasparov Korchnoi match, is a bit of mystery because first of all, Korchnoi qualified for the final because Kasparov didn't get the visa from the Soviets. And then he agreed, apparently for some amount of money, to play the match anyway. But in the first part of the match, he won the first game, and then he showed Kasparov that he cannot touch him. And I don't know what happened after that, but Korchnoi had made it very clear that he would never play Karpov again.
Oh, he said that before. He said that he will never, ever play much with Karpov.
So I'm not so sure how much Kasparov at that height was a difficult opponent for Korchnoi. He just showed him who is who, and then he decided that let the little guy beat Karpov because I thought I had enough of him. So.
But let's not forget they played in 1982.
Yes, in the Olympiad. Yes.
It was also a very interesting game, where Albert and Sosonko, they made some good analysis for white, and the execution, time travel, and everything. It was, and Kasparov really played very well, especially in time travel.
In that game he simply beat him. But in the match, things were not so simple for Kasparov actually. And then Korchnoi really started playing. I couldn't recognize him. It was not. It was not his strength, not his. Some sort of experiment.
I agree with you. That it was just he made up his mind not ever playing Karpov again, and he just we can't say that he threw away the match, but his heart was not there anymore.
No, but imagine
he's a very emotional guy. He was really very emotional. People knowing him, I played a couple of games with him. I spoke a lot with him, and at some moment our wives became friends. Then, Viktor Lvovich, he died after that, and he was always very emotional. I think this was a problem for his human side was making an obstacle for him. A good example, Dmitry Gurovich told me that with Tukmakov, they were about helping him. And he just wanted to play chess before some critical candidates match. I don't know, with Hryartas or with Timman, before one of them. He just, and they told him, like, look, don't play, don't show your hand, whatever, stay at home. And when they came back after some time, he was unrecognizable. He really wanted to play. He was he wanted a vivid life, some fight, that maybe during this fight, with Kasparov, during this relationship with Keres, he didn't have what he got at the end of the day. And also, I mean, I won't completely agree with Mihail's statement about this match, because Kasparov really played superb. After some time, it became very difficult to match the guy. For instance, this game in Tarash that he lost with White with Bishop E3, very long game. The positions were very difficult and a lot of energy consuming for the guy. Nobody really challenged him because he was beating Petrosyan, Spassky. He was getting low on energy, especially in this match in Belgrade. With by the way, Sosonko attack comes finally. The cat came into the screen. Your cat, basically, yeah. Not right. Sosonko. This one. The higher rated cut came finally.
I do want to chime in from a sponsor's perspective, because I had in the 90s I ran a lot of GM tournaments. Suat was playing in one of them, but the biggest one that I ran was the Category 13, and I invited Korchnoi and Hubner because of the respect I had for them, Golko because of the respect I had for him, and John Nunn because of the respect I had for him, because you need foreign federations in order to get the categories norms possible. And so I had all of these guys, and it was a great tournament. Korchnoi won it, but it was a great tournament, and I kept doing it for a while. But then I realized, and the main reason was because I'm a fan. I'm just a chess fan, and so I did this because I just didn't like the way that the grandmasters were not respected and not treated the way that I thought they should be treated in the United States. And so I was trying to make a difference, and I realized I couldn't make a difference. It didn't move the needle at all in the United States. And so then I thought, in terms of sponsorship, I grew up on you had interzonals and you had candidates matches, and the person who qualified to play for the World Championship, that person had earned it. And now we have these other kinds of things going on that I can't follow. I don't understand who's going to play who and when and all of that kind of stuff. But I was fascinated, and I knew exactly who was going to play who and when back in those days. And so the idea about sponsorship now, how are you going to get sponsors? So the idea of all this stuff that Magnus is doing is for the eyeballs. Who's tuning in? It's not about, are they good chess players? Do they love the game the way I did? It's how many eyeballs are there watching. That's what the sponsors today care about, because they're not chess fans either.
There's also another problem the way I see it. It started with a while ago, but if you look at this Carlsen tournaments, and if you look Grand Chess Tour tournaments, there's kind of a closed elite of 10, 12 players, and they play them against themselves all the time. They don't allow people from lower echelons of chess. So let's see, people with 2600, 2650, even 2700. They don't allow those people to come up and play this elite 2750, 2800 or so. So it's like a two level player. One is this elite 10, 12 players, and then all others. So there's nothing, no
intermingling
between these two groups. That's a reality of today's chess world, and it's going on now for quite a few years. So I think that's kind of That's like,
But I do think it's
like,
a
Coco is improving the space, you know, he is getting all the space.
exactly.
And my new
how high is that cat's rating?
Oh, this cat unbeatable.
So we started with the basics. The basics is don't eat daddy's pieces. Daddy's pieces.
That's
Uh,
it.
Don't scratch mommy's paintings.
Yes.
So this is the basic.
That's rule number one. Well, okay. I'd like to thank all of you for today's show. I'm looking so much forward to next week. I'm looking to 2 terrific games. And remember, if it's 1-1, we will have Armageddon game.
Oh,
Magnus Carlsen style.
yes.
Carlsen style, absolutely.
Petit chess tour, Capablanca would call. Not grand, but petit chess tour.
Yeah. Okay. I will send you a couple of days before the match. I will send you links to Google Meet. So you will be there and you will be, of course, on site. And we're looking to terrific shows. Thank you so much. And I invite again everybody for next Saturday.
Thank you, Sasha.